Hi guys, we're back. Wrestle Up is in the house. It's just me and the doctor today. We have no idea where Trace Ayer is, do you? Paul?
Trace Ayer is on a very important secret mission.
Yeah, top secret. Who knows? So secret, he hasn't told us what it is anyway, so that's for sure of it. So,
and he will bring incredible wrestling analysis in the future.
Yeah, and probably knowing him, he'll be sending hot off the presses to us later on Facebook while we're talking here. So now, me and the doctor today, I've got a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, we're going to obviously go touch on AEW's very, very good episode last night in a few minutes. And then we'll come on to a quick talk about WrestleMania afterwards. But we want to talk about this news about Eva Lise, first of all, getting released from AEW. Now, what do you reckon to this news, Paul?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like, nobody really knows, I suppose, what happened. I think, as we said, Eva Lise has a bit of a reputation for having trouble in companies. But at the same time, you know, when we don't know what's happening behind closed doors, you don't want to discredit what she's saying either. I suppose it's one of the first pieces of kind of bad response from wrestler AEW has gotten. It's kind of interesting. Most of the people there seem to enjoy working there.
Yeah, you don't. We've said this off mic before. I've not come across many cases where wrestlers have been really bad mouthing the company. This is possibly the first one I can think of, to be honest with you.
Tony Khan's one case, I think.
Tony Khan's quite well liked, isn't he? So,
yeah. I'm trying to think. There was one thing I remember on social media a couple of months ago about a writer, I think, or a backstage worker who had a very bad experience, but I think he was kind of not very well known, so it didn't really seem to get much kind of traction in the press. But this is the first kind of, I think, wrestler who's given a bad account.
Yeah, there's one thing that is clear in this. We can say this because I've been reading up on this before. Was if people follow AEW, they have contract structures in place, and it's like they obviously have the top wrestlers on the contract. They have medium contracts, don't they? But a lot of the people on the like dark, the Ascension nights, the extra helpers, they get paid on like a pay-per-play basis, don't they? So, and it's and they seem to do that sometimes as well, Paul, don't they? With some of the names of people that are fighting regular and winning quite a few matches as well. Because like it's she's on that contract, she was, Eva Lise. So that's why it's in the business perspective, it's quite easy to get rid of her. But then there's like, isn't they? The question is like there's obviously clearly bad blood between her and Thunder Rosa, going back to their time with Lucha Underground.
I suppose you've seen it as well, like so much, even with the WWE locker rooms. You know, it's not. I think sometimes even it's not about who's right or wrong, because sometimes it's more, you know, if you're disrupting, if you're a bad presence in the locker room, you're probably not going to stay there for very long.
Yeah.
For better or worse. You know, the company values kind of, I suppose, an easy life in some senses. And it just, fortunately, if you're on the bad side of enough people, you're probably not going to stay in the company.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened here, because they've already moved Diamante, obviously, into like they had a teaser feud of her and Thunder Rosa over the last couple of weeks in Dark and Elevation. Have you been watching the Elevation since it come on, Paul? The new program?
I haven't, unfortunately.
I've seen bits of it. They had a nearly 10-minute fight between Diamante and Thunder Rosa on from this Monday. It was really hard hitting. Well worth watching it was. So that's why. So it made you wonder whether they're using that to split Diamante off from what Eva Lise is like. Because I've heard talk before that the pair of them didn't get on. There was definitely something going on in the past between those two. But like I said, it was interesting anyway. So at the moment, we don't know more. So, but all I say to you is we wish her all the best, basically. So, because we don't know, do we? So, but
hopefully both sides are happy in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. So, right. Anyway, right. So, first up today, then we're going to have a chat about AEW from last night. I'll just get my notes together. Now, I thought this was a really interesting episode last night. This because you think really, Paul, because it was the first night where they'd not had NXT, haven't they, competing with them? And I didn't see NXT from last night because I was a bit busy last night, or Tuesday night actually. So, did you watch it? Did you NXT?
I haven't seen it, but big news coming out of it, which was Kushida won the Cruiserweight title, which I was quite excited about because I love Kushida. and WWE haven't really done an awful lot with. He's had a few big kind of single matches, but you know, in terms of this is his first title in WWE, so it was a bit quick change from Escobar only winning unifying the cruiserweight titles last week. But it's really nice that Kushida has gotten something.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very, very funny WWE. Now, there's not. I'm not going to go into the bad mouthing of anybody in this sort of thing, but they do seem to like when they put you in a place, they seem very reluctant to move you. So I think in AEW, if you want to try and get more ambitious and move yourself up, I think the company where you can do it more easier. Because WWE, I think, is a much harder organisation to advance yourself in if they're not keen. So, but good luck to them. Good luck to them, definitely straight away with that one. So anyway, on to AEW first of all then. Now, first of all then, obviously, we started off, there was really good promo, didn't we, between the Young Bucks. Now,
the promos throughout the show I thought were really strong.
Yes, I do.
The different little backstage interviews were just really everything seemed really solid. It was really kind of solid show on that side of it.
Yeah, it did, and it showed to me straight away, and we're going to come break this down in more depth in a minute, but the full show itself, they were doing this to prove a point last night, weren't they? To try and get in the NXT people that have been watching it primarily from the night before. They've obviously been splitting it down. But I know NXT got, 200 extra thousand people watching it, didn't they, on Tuesday night?
I think they had a little over 800,000.
Yeah.
Which is a jump from last week, but that's because they had the pay-per-view last week, but it's a fairly big jump from their usual week.
Yeah, because the average last year has been about 650 or something, hasn't it? So this over 800, that's quite a big jump. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the figures are for AEW last night, because I've not seen them yet, to be honest with you. They don't usually go out to Friday or something, do they? But I think they'll probably get over 1 million after the show last night, don't you? Straight away.
Well, after that opening match, I'm hoping there's anything to grab people in. I think that match was something.
Oh, God, yeah. Do you know, obviously, people are wondering, obviously, and we'll talk about the first match, and obviously the Young Bucks versus, of course, I'm getting to my notes now, Ray Phoenix and Pac. And it was, and the more long this went on, I thought to myself, how long are they going to go with this fight? Because it went on for, 28 minutes, was it?
Yeah, it was well into the 20s anyway.
Yeah, I'm just looking at one of the reports lying on the dirt sheets. They said it's 28 and a half minutes long, and it was a tremendous fight.
We'll be speaking about WrestleMania in a few minutes, and there's only a handful of matches that could, I think, match this at WWE's biggest show of the year, and this is the opening of a TV show.
It's crazy, wasn't it? Because it shows really, obviously with the Bucks, and obviously the Bucks are now going heel. We'll come on to that in a minute. But like I said, but to put them against Ray Phoenix and Pac, for me, two of the best solo workers going, and they're an unbelievable tag team. Really, really good. And you could have easily done this as a pay-per-view fight. But we always say this, don't we, me, you, and Dre? When they put stuff on the TV show like this, are they holding a bit back for a possible pay-per-view show in the future?
I don't think they held much back in this one. When the Bucks are in storytelling mode, they're just like a dream to watch.
Yeah, it's given them a lot more focus, because I think some of the booking for them has been a bit. The fights have been good, but I've not always been as convinced of where the direction they've been going sometimes with this. But this was really, really, really good. It was, and it was there was just so many good bits in it. Really, wasn't there? So, it was I wouldn't even like to basically say. Start picking up favorite bits. Was there any favorite bit you really liked in it? Anything stood out to you, Paul?
Oh, there's just so much the storytelling with the Young Bucks, going to the wrong corner and pretending to, hype up and pretending to do the Ultimate Warrior taunt and the Shawn Michaels.
Oh God, yeah, of course, yeah.
Giving everything to it, and just all the flips leading into backflips to twists to end up just scraping the back off Pac and Phoenix. It was just brilliant, heel turn, pretty much. This is us now. And we're every bit as good as we were, but we're going to we'll have fun, but we're not going to have as much fun, kind of thing.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of that, weren't they? Where they were doing all the high spot moves still, but all the posing in between it was amplified a bit more. And I think they made the right move by changing the gear, basically. I think the change of gear was a good move, that was, because it got rid of the very sort of face sort of gimmick on the clothes, didn't it? So that's why. So
yeah, like it works. Like, it seems like a simple thing, but like you change your gear, it does change, how you're viewed.
Yeah.
Make a big difference.
Yeah, and I think what I liked about it as well was obviously we'll come on to the ending in a minute, but I was glad in some ways either Kenny Omega or the Good Brothers came out and interfered. I think it would have been the wrong move to establish them as fate of heels. But
like I think that's probably necessary every once in a while for to get heat, but at the same time, it rarely adds a lot to a match. It's always nicer when you can just have the match.
Yeah. Now, certainly, like I said, there was a lot going on in it, basically. So I don't want to start picking bits out myself. I just want to tell people to go and watch the fight. Literally, just
we have three cards to get through to today. Just go watch the fight.
Yeah, go and watch the fight. And turned out the actual apparently it wasn't 28 minutes, 23 minutes according to the dirt sheet. So, but it was possibly one of my favorite fights of the year in AEW, and that's saying on a TV show.
Yeah. No, like this is again. There was a couple of things I enjoyed more of WrestleMania, but honestly, this is probably one of my favorite matches I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, have to be for me as well. So now we're going to talk very briefly when we mark it, obviously about the ending. Now, what do you reckon to the ending about the masks?
I loved it. I thought it was really like pure, like how much whether you're big into your lucha libre or not. Like it's just an awful like bastard move.
Oh, I know it's awful, yeah. But
Awful.
last time we saw that tried in AEW was when they routed the two brothers, didn't they? Penta and Ray Phoenix fought, and Penta was trying to rip off Ray Phoenix's mask. It was a real heel move, but they actually did it this time. And I thought myself, I thought, oof. And then like he just covered his hands up, didn't he? And he got clobbered and pinned, and I thought, yeah, great way.
That moment of like he couldn't even see the super kicks coming was the call, I think, from the announcer, and it was like it's kind of beautiful. It's all nice.
Oh God, yeah, completely. I was thinking of them when I was watching Packing This For. Do you ever see much of him when he was Evan Bourne in not Evan Bourne, what's it called? When he was in
WWE.
WWE, yeah.
Neville,
Aaron Neville, that was it. And he was just, you look at the character now he's doing this, he's just so much better than he was in WWE as Neville. Neville was a good little high flyer, but he's just.
When Neville did his King of the Cruiserweights in WWE, he wasn't too bad. He had but it still felt like kind of a slightly restricted version of this, whereas now he kind of just, gone full throttle and you're getting kind of the best form of it.
Yeah, I think he's in the best work I've ever seen him do at the moment, John, since he's come back after the virus. Unbelievable. But anyway, we better mark this, Paul, haven't we? So we're going to be gushing praises all night.
4.5 stars.
Yeah, I'll give it that, to be honest with myself, straight away. I think if it had been a pay-per-view, it'd been 5. I think they would have put even more into it. God knows what. But yeah. But hopefully we'll get these two teams doing a rematch some point on a pay-per-view. I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, after that, I don't know why we're going to do this because we're going to try and watch time here tonight as well. We had a very bizarre. We'll skip through these very quickly. Alex Marvez interviewed Adam Page, didn't he, and the Dark Order, and then basically Adam Page just avoided the question and offered to go and buy egg rolls. The Dark Order went straight out. And it was like the Dark Order and cheered John Silver as he raised in the shoulder to his shoulder level. And I thought to myself, what on earth is going on here?
I think just a little bit of get them on TV, have a little bit of fun. We'll deal with it.
Oh, yeah, it's completely on it. So that's why. Then obviously, we're going to skip for these. Then you had the interview with Jericho, didn't you, with Mike Tyson, with the rest of the inner circle there. And that was actually just to prove the point that Tyson was going to be fair in this. And it made me tell me what you think of this, Paul. We'll come on to this in the fight in a minute. As soon as I did that interview, obviously, with Tyson and Jericho, I was thinking to myself, I think I turned Tyson heel here.
Just first of all, Jericho is always so smooth on the mic. He was just so
unbelievable.
But yeah, it added that little bit of, I think what they were hoping for is just kind of, they wanted you to be unsure what was going to happen. They wanted to be this is going too well, kind of, we're not going to sure what's going to happen. Almost like be true.
That makes sense, John, straight away then, basically. Like, it had me thinking that along the same lines there, straight away. So, yeah, watch this space, yeah. Good again. Good, short, sharp promos were. And then we went on to women's. This is what was rare tonight or last night was the first two women's fights, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice Jade Cargill.
Yep.
Red Velvet.
Yep.
You've probably seen a lot more Red Velvet than I have now, because I know she's been on Dark and has she been on Elevation before?
Yeah.
I think this is my seeing her. And honestly, while like the match wasn't, we're not going to be writing about it in years to come. I thought it was just a very nice, solid match, and I think Red Velvet looked really, really good.
Yes, considering when she first came into AEW last year, I believe she was pretty new at this. She was, and I felt they're both very. It paled in comparison to the first fight because there's no way this was going to be a 4.5, 5-star match.
It's unfair to compare them. Like you can't compare them.
Can't do it. They're both rookies because if I think this is Jade. I've read they said in the thing this is Jade Cargill's fourth match. I thought she was solid. No complaints on my side.
Like Red Velvet really felt like the kind of ring general, even though she hasn't probably been there very long either. But I think they both did, like, for a good weekly TV match for people who don't have a lot of experience. I thought this was great.
Yeah, I think there've been some criticism in the past, haven't they? The women where they go on about they let the women do over 10 minutes inexperienced two women wrestlers. These are inexperienced. They only did 7 minutes, but there was no bricks, no mistakes. They just covered up pretty smooth as you told it.
Yeah. It's good. Like, again, the moveset wasn't wild, but they did everything just really well. And I thought they were just, I want to see more Red Velvet. I want to see how she develops. I think she's a lot of potential.
Yeah. Other thing with her is, I think she's a bit slender because she's only little, isn't she? So, like I say, it'd be hard to judge what she'd be like against some more powerhouse women because they've got some taller women in this organisation. And I don't.
Wrestling is built on your David versus Goliath stories, I think.
Exactly. Also, I don't know if her skill set is as good as to go against people like Thunder Rosa, for example, or a couple of others. So
in the future,
I think both of them look like stars in the making. So I think you've got to do that with the women wrestling. You've got obviously WWE have got so many of the women's wrestlers under contract worldwide. They have to look round more carefully, don't they? So. And I try to get more people like Ty Canty in, who I think is just extraordinary among AEW. And they sneak to and they're just going to keep looking at it. Yeah, good fight. So
I think, you can't always, you're not going to have everyone, the best wrestler in the world on their first day. You start somewhere, and sometimes you'll start on a bigger stage, and just give it a bit of time. I think there could be a lot of potential in both Jade and Red Velvet.
Yeah, because they're both very young wrestlers, that's for sure. I don't know how old they are. I didn't know that Jade Cargill's she's got 2 kids as well, she has. So I know she's an ex-army girl. That's why. So she's got a couple of kids. She has a single mum as well. So, but again, back came off him. I heard him on the official AEW podcast about her, going about children and stuff as well. So she's a nice woman, to be honest with you. So anyway, what should we give this out of 5 then, Paul?
It's like 2.5 stars, just exactly what I needed to be. They did great for what they were, what they had to do.
Yeah, I'll do the same. It was all right. I've seen worse fights. And we're going to be coming on to Wrestlemania. There'll be some fights that'll be less than that.
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's a couple of clunkers. But anyway, we'll come on to that. Right, yeah. Anyway, we had then after that a quick promo, didn't we, of Britt Baker and Rebel, or not Revel, pointing at the women's division rankings poster. I thought this was quite a nice little sharp promo, Trooper told you, to prove how they're going to get her moving up the rankings, aren't they, so?
I don't watch it very much. From what I've heard and a few little bits I've seen, Impact Wrestling has got a lot of praise recently for just doing these lovely little short, concise promos that just get to the point and get them, people over. And AEW really felt like it was on this tonight. The same like it was short, it was to the point, it was entertaining, got Britt Baker in your mind, got her future in your head, and I think it was just lovely, just really nice, solid little promo.
Really, really good it was tonight then. And I hope AEW keep this sort of approach going because I don't like bad mouthing other companies, but there's another company that I won't name. I've seen it on at least a few of their programs last few times I've watched it. They've gone into 20, 25-minute promos. at the start of the show, and it's too much.
No, he's just short to the point. Get it done, get it over with.
Yeah, and that's what pretty well happened after that, really, isn't it? With Anthony Ogogo doing his squash match against Cole Carter. Did you know how long that lasted?
51 seconds, apparently.
Yeah, I read the same. Yeah, I thought myself, he just basically got the Excalibur, just talked to his boxing resume, and the next thing you know, he just punched Carter in the gut, and Carter went down. And I thought, oh well.
I don't know now. Again, I know he's UK Olympic hero. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't think this was the best introduction.
No, I don't either, John. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to build him, John. Like I said, so because
they didn't even it wasn't that the wrestler gave up or the wrestler looked like he couldn't keep on. It was like he was down for a couple of seconds, and the ref was immediately like, "No, that's it, stop the match."
Yeah, it was just plain strange. It was, couldn't you? Like I said, so I'm to be honest with you, I can't even mark that because I can't mark a 1 minute fight for a debut for somebody. So I'm going to do not available at 5. It's up to you, Paul, on that.
Again, no. I get they're trying to put across, the punch. Maybe even in a weird twist, the gut punch might be his finisher, which would be a weird decision that I don't think they should do. But I guess they're trying to sell his power. But I think, even if it was a knockout, if it was a punch to the head and knockout, I think that would have been fine. But this was just weird. It was weirdly executed.
Yeah, let's hope we don't go around doing what the Undertaker used to do in WCW when I first saw him. He used to do his heart punch straight in the arm. No, I think they're getting criticised for that one.
I don't think the heart punch is going to sell these days.
No, I don't either. Well, after that, we had a quick promo, didn't we, about Miro as well. Now, what do you reckon to this, Paul? Because this was interesting, really, for me. This was. He was going on about saying he's moving forward to fulfill his destiny with or without Kip Sabian. So obviously, it sounds like to me they're going to split them apart, aren't they?
That's probably okay. That's probably
it's probably the right move, to be honest with you. So that's why I think, they need to do something to move them on now. So anyway, right, then we're on to the fun now, aren't we? So we had a 14-minute Chris Jericho versus Dax Harwood.
I thought it was good, solid kind of fun. I think it maybe didn't reach the highs I thought it might, but I enjoyed it. I found it entertaining. The only thing I will say is maybe having this match and the main event, while I do love factions and do love, outside interference, both matches kind of had a lot going on the outside.
I think both of them really did, didn't they?
Yeah, which might be. I think you could do that once, in a TV match, but having twice on a TV card was much.
Yeah, it was pushing it a bit, that one, John. There was a lot going on with that. I think it's one we had to really pay attention to it on. So that's for sure with it. So and I did like the way they set the scene with Tyson straight away, where basically he pulled Jericho's bat off him, didn't he? And then he pulled his chair away from Dax straight away, trying to get the impression that he's going to be fair. And I thought you made you wondering then, is he going to be fair or not? And he was, and that really surprised me actually.
Yeah, no, he did get his nice KO punch and was a cash wheeler.
Oh yeah, I knew he was going to deck somebody, and it really wasn't a fair. He didn't put his full body on that punch. You could see it a mile off. I mean, I've been to watch pay-per-views when I was growing up, and I've seen him lay into people properly. And I thought to myself, there was no messing around back in those days. He was like an animal. Probably street folk, but yeah, I said it was like you could see he was having fun there. He was actually having a good time. He was so.
I think solid. The right man probably went over. You don't need Dax Harwood as a tag team wrestler to win a singles match. Really, it's not essential. But I think it was just good, solid match. Yeah,
the same. Don't you? Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it again. I think it paled compared to the first match again, truth be told you. But it was...
I think nothing really lived up to the first match.
I know. It'll take a lot to crack. Any sort of show you start off is going to live that up to that. And there's some hard work. It was a good fight. Enjoyed it. So, okay.
What would you give it?
3.5, I think, to be honest, yeah. 3.5. It was a good fight. Good, but not great.
3.5. Happy enough with that, I think.
Yeah. I tell you what I did notice, actually, tonight, and this is slightly digressing as we move on. The people that weren't there tonight, there was a few people that weren't there tonight. You had nothing from Moxley tonight, did you?
No, I suppose, is he selling maybe the end of last week?
Yeah. Supposed to, both pair of them were probably, weren't they? So
maybe you want to like give the Bucks a chance to kind of solidify their position before Moxley makes his kind of big return.
Yeah, I think so as well. There was no Cody Rhodes, was there?
Yeah.
Well, Cody got jumped. He got jumped on that house show they did on Friday, didn't they? So they showed a clip of that. So obviously, hints like he was sitting out for that reason as well. So
I think Cody is kind of nice as a little bit of a special attraction. You know, if he's not on every week, I find he's just kind of a fun. You know, when he pops in, he's entertaining, but I think he doesn't need to be on the show every week either.
Yeah, I think so. They made the right move there. They did. And what I like about AEW is the fact is they don't bring everybody on every week. This works really well for them. Like I said, they had these people not on tonight, major names, and it wasn't exactly Hangman Adam Page in a massive role, did he tonight? He was in on there for about 30 seconds because he's going to go get egg sandwiches.
Like Kenny Omega had for like what, a 30-second promo or a minute promo with 6 people later on the show as well.
Yeah, and that's pretty well it. So it was really, really interesting. It was. So like I said, but yeah, we had all that, didn't we? Based at the car park thing after that, when they clobbered, they super kicked into the camera guy at the end of it, and I thought that was a nice go back to where the Bucks were obviously doing it to everybody again, weren't they? A couple months ago.
It was what's your man's name? Don Callis super kicked him in the end.
Yeah. Oh, I think Don Callis is great. Anyhow,
he's great. He's such a great voice.
Oh, he's cheesy, but I do like him a lot to do. So, right, okay, and then we had another. Would you call this a squash match? Chris Statlander versus Amber Nova.
Yeah, like it was slightly extended squash, but it was mostly just a squash, I suppose.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you read up who Amber Nova is, she's won quite a few belt shields actually. I think she won a belt in Impact or something a while ago, or somewhere along that, and a good one or two of the good indies. So she's no mug, but then they must have bought her in just to give Chris Statlander the push basically. So
she looked fairly like solid. I hadn't come across her before. Maybe I have, but I didn't like realize it. But I think like she had a kind of she had a thing in the middle of the match where she pulled out like a rag, which I think was part of her gimmick, which the commentators completely no-sold and made it look kind of stupid as it should have been.
Yeah. And that was very strange. Did you catch the quote that JR said? And I don't know if this has gone around the net yet, and this will probably cause a stinker, it does. He said Statlander's had a better diet and slimmed up and is in great shape. She was on the go about a weight base, and I thought, oof.
I remember JR earlier in the night said, what was his quote? His literal quote, I think, was like, "I'm not sure if I'm being politically correct, but someone as beautiful as Jade Cargill shouldn't be getting punched in the face." And I'm like, well, that's just a weird thing to say, Jim.
Yeah.
It's just like the weird thing, like I think Jim Ross, like he is trying, I think, but I think just like I know. I think he's trying to keep up with the world. But I think the world is just very different to what he knows.
Yeah, you think really when he was at his peak as a commentary in the late 90s and the early 2000s at WWE, you're right, the world was a very, very different place. And he's trying his best and he doesn't always get it right. I think he suffers from foot in God mode sometimes. But I said,
if he says anything terrible, he'll often end up on like social media and like apologize if he hurt anyone or like, said anything bad. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard to know with Jim Ross. Like I know he loves the job and it makes him happy. And I know some people like working with him, but he's definitely a step behind, I think, what he used to be.
Yeah, he's not, and that's where they need 3 people in the booth really, because Tony Schiavone is really as smooth as anything. Still, he is. If he's still got it completely, now I think Excalibur's really, really good. Do like Excalibur because the background knowledge he brings. That's why. So, anyway, I'm not going to mark the Chris Statlander fight again because it's it was an angle rather than a fight to me.
Grand little.
Yeah.
There was a nice moment where she tongued up Orange Cassidy and he gave his little like half-assed tongued up. Just it was as much angle as match. I think you're right.
Yeah. Now we're going to skip quickly onto that to obviously Team Taz versus Christian Cage in that latest angle. Now, I don't know about you, this Paul. I thought there's no way Christian Cage is going to join Team Taz.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah, but I think again it was just an angle set up for a fight next week. This was announced, didn't it, between Powerhouse Hobbs and Christian Cage, and that'll be a good one because it gives Hobbs a bit more experience. Because I think Hobbs he's a real talent for the future for him. And he's only 23, 24, very, very young he is. And he put him against Christian Cage, who's got over 20 years experience. Cage will be teaching him things in his week how to work, and it'll do good. And I can't see Cage not losing to Hobbs, to be honest with you. I think he'll beat him next week. But
either that or like it'll build up to a bigger match with some of Team Taz and he'll lose eventually. But Christian is a really good ring general. Like he knows the psychology of wrestling super well, and this is why they brought him in to work with the young guys to bring him up.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Should we concentrate on bringing him in to work with younger guys like that? People that can learn off him. That's a fantastic idea. Now, after that, obviously, they announced, didn't they, Shida versus Ty Conti for next week. And I'm looking forward to that fight, actually.
That should be a lot of fun.
That should be a lot of fun. I would actually put half a bet on that Ty Conti could actually win the belt there, actually.
I don't know. I think Britt Baker and...
but I think Britt Baker's obviously the next feud for whoever wins it anyway, is the next major contender.
I think either they build up Shida so much, I think it'll either be Britt or Thunder Rosa will take it off her eventually.
Yeah, and Thunder Rosa was going on about her problem once she's going back against the NWA champion as well, so she wants one of the belts. So it could well be NWA again. She's still under contract to NWA, she is.
Yeah.
And she's also under contract to one of the MMA sort of fights organisations, isn't she, as well? Yeah, so she's under contract to quite a few things on Thunder Rosa. She's a busy lady, tells you. So, but yeah, it could well be NWA and they take her off AEW for a while then, tells you. We'll see.
I think she lost an NWA either title match or number one contenders match recently. So she might be opened up again to a bit more AEW work.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, either way, she's a fantastic worker. That fight with against Dr. Britt Baker the other week was extraordinary.
That was also one of the best matches this year so far.
Yeah, had to be as well. So they fully deserved going on last that did. And they're still going on about it weeks later, deservedly. So, but anyway, we'll better move on. So, they obviously did mention next week, Christian versus Will Hobbs, which I'm looking forward to. And we've got Ricky Stark versus Hangman Page, which I think will be a great fight.
A bit of fun, yeah.
And then you've got Trent versus Penta as well. And they're all nothing major fights, but there should be all really good, four good fights there next week. I'm not interested enough that there's no tag team fights there next week, which is a bit unusual for AEW.
Might throw one in yet. You never know.
Probably someone that's going to surprise you. So, but anyway, right. We concluded with Darby versus Matt Hardy in a Falls Count Anywhere TNT title match. And this one went on for 17 minutes as well.
Yeah, I think, again, bar perhaps all of the outside interference just because it had been done in another match. I thought this was a lot of fun. I think this was probably more fun than a Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I think I preferred this one. Definitely preferred this one, John. I must admit. So, probably because he went wilder. He went wilder. That's why. Just went madder and madder. Like,
it was violent. It was fun. It was creative. You had a lot of interesting spots you haven't really seen before. Like Matt, like the twist of eight, like on chairs, and the reverse twist of eights with chairs, and like the big finish. It was like there was a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah, what got me was some of the hints to give as well. Because I like the fact where obviously you had Sting going against Private Party, didn't you? And then obviously who came out and got involved. That's why. But Lance Archer, he did a heck of a brave move and won the last on Private Party straight in front of Sting, and I thought to myself, oof. It made me wonder with those two, and here's an interesting thought for you. are they actually going to have a fight and then become a tag team or something and break Sting off from Darby Allin?
Maybe, like, I know AEW have a lot of factions. Will they end up like with Sting and Lance Archer and Darby Allin or something? Or
Be a cracking team. Be a cracking team.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Lance Archer. I think he should have really had one of the major belts by now, truth be told you. I think he's that good for it. But again, he'll get his time with it, so he said wait and see with that. So yeah. Was there any bits you particularly liked stood out to you in this Darby versus Matt Hardy fight?
Yeah, those steel chair spots were fairly gruesome.
Good, yeah.
And just the finish was really nice. That like just highlighting that Darby Allin, like
he's this generation's Matt Hardy, yeah. This generation's Matt Hardy, really.
Yeah, Hardy brother, pretty much. And it was really nice. And it was really nice for Matt to try and I think there was such a bad taste left after Matt and Sammy Guevara's Falls Count Anywhere match. It was nice for him to just do a good, solid, hardcore match that didn't have anything go terribly atrocious and kind of get that taste out of his mouth.
Yeah, I think it was a good fight. It flowed really well, don't you? Really, really enjoyed it, don't you? I think it might have been overbooked in places because there's possibly too much going on the outside, but it is what it is, honestly, like I said, isn't it? So, no, for me, it was a good way of finishing the TV show off, truth be told to you. So,
yeah.
Said so. And I think they used Sting well as well, they did, tell me. I don't like seeing Sting coming out talking all the time, and he's going to get interrupted, so it does get a bit ridiculous. But no, that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Good fight. So,
what would you give it?
It's not a 4.5, but I'll do it. I'll do a U. I'll say 3.75.
I was thinking the same thing.
They always say, it's a good tip for everyone listening to podcasting. You work with somebody long enough, you start thinking like the way they do. And I've seen the way you've wound up Uma before now. Your fractions.
I'll actually give it 3 7/8.
That's ridiculous. So next time, what we're going to do? We're going to do 3.959595, are we?
Yeah. 3.14. No, 3 3/4.
Yeah. But anyway, that was it for obviously last night's AEW. Yep. For the spectacle of the show for me, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I've thought it's a great show. Generally did so.
Fantastic opener, great promo work, solid work for most people throughout. Really good. For a weekly TV show, you couldn't ask for a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really good 1 hour, 50 minutes for me this morning when I watched it. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. Because whenever I do it, I watch them. I watch it 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm doing my work. So I have my laptop to work, my own laptop set up above my work's laptop. So I'm typing away all my orders. And then basically I can watch AEW. And it's brilliant. It was a really good show this morning. So one of their better house shows or TV shows recently, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty well covered AEW. So we're now going to go on to Wrestlemania. Do you know what I'm going to show you now, Paul? I'm going to show you how old I am. I can actually remember the first Wrestlemania. I was 11.
Wow. God. I was not born.
Well, I'm old. I'm 48. I'm 49 now. But yeah, it was a funny one, this, because, didn't they? Because they varied. I noticed straight away that Michael Cole was the main lead for all of the Wrestlemania, both of them. They didn't have the guy from Raw, did they? I forgot his name now. They moved him. They moved, haven't they? So,
you know what? I think with everything going on and so much kind of chaos, for all his faults, I suppose Michael Cole is at least consistent most of the time.
Yeah.
They just wanted to lean on him a little bit. Yeah.
No, I don't like him a lot as a commentator. I think he's a poor version of JR, to be honest with you. But again, he's been there so long now, he's smooth. So, and I know they moved around a lot of people that are with him on various bits and pieces. So, I'm going to skip through the first bits of news. Obviously, like we had Vince McMahon welcoming everybody back, didn't we? And we had Babe Rexha performing America the Beautiful, and I skipped through that. So,
yeah,
can't help me there. And then we skipped past.
You did have a lot of wrestlers crying actually during America's Beautiful. I think just fans and stuff for the first time.
Sorry, I hate to bore you. Fast forward. I don't know. I didn't see any of that. So, But I know there was there was a bit of promos, wasn't there, basically, at the beginning of it, wasn't it? Really praising the promos, weren't there, some people?
Yeah, like it was like there was a rain warning. They weren't able to start for 40 minutes because there was a rainstorm happening. And loads of wrestlers just started giving off the cuff promos.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Like it was ridiculous and it was chaotic, but it was tons of fun. Like there was just there was a lot of silliness, there was a lot of just energy and just kind of people just like riffing. And it was just, these guys can give promos without scripts. And it was actually like, it was a lot of crack. It was really good.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, and it shows what perhaps WWE should really be looking at really sometimes to give people this chance to do this. Because if you've got people that are good talkers, why not use them properly?
Mm-hmm.
I think they micromanage them too much for my liking. That's what, to a degree, what puts me off WWE sometimes, just because it's, I don't know, it seems to be missing that little bit of freedom what they need to do it sometimes, but it is what it is. So, but you're right. Did you hear about Byron Sexton? He let him, his mics kept blowing up, didn't they, during him on the fights he was on, because his equipment got absolutely drenched.
I had a few issues with like tech. There was one thing, I think it was at the start before when they hit the video package for Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. One of the pre-show panel guys who they were talking to, during the video package, their mics didn't turn off, so you could hear him saying, "I need to go to the bathroom." So there was a few tech, like, to be fair, understandable due to everything going on, but there's tech issues here and there.
It was just like I said, it was, and obviously I think we were 40 minutes late getting going, weren't they? And they had what? It was 8 fights, weren't they? So it made you wonder how they were actually planning us on the cuff thing, because they must have to reduce the length of some of these fights.
Yeah, there was 7 fights, I think, but no, I suppose
there's 15 in total. I mean, there was 8 in the first night, 7 in the second, or something like that. Anyway, so
I think it was at 14, and I think there were 7 both nights. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was interesting to see how much they changed up. But it was still like, I think night 1 actually was the stronger night for me, and I think they managed to pull it off fairly well for the most part, bar 1 or 2 hiccups.
Well, as we'll discuss now. I've got to say, it was fascinating to watch. They brought out two announcers. Not announcers. Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan. We'll come on to the costume in the second half in a few minutes. But it was fascinating because I saw the crowd loving Titus O'Neil, and they're all booing Hogan. And I thought to myself, this isn't going the way they want this to go.
Yeah, like I would have probably been happier if Titus was there on his own.
Yeah, I think he had the charisma to do it, but he doesn't have the name really, does he? So that's why.
Yeah, like Hogan didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything bad either night, but I think just, I don't know, you could kind of see his age showing through a little bit, I think.
Was he about 70 now? He must be. He wasn't
60s at least, yeah.
Yeah, because he was in his 30s, was it? When the first Wrestlemania, basically. That was 37 years ago, so yeah, must be by now, yeah. Blimey. Anyway, right, okay. Well, the first fight was, and this one did surprise me actually when they started this one off for this, but I guessed who was going to win it straight away. Because I didn't see the running order to watch it live. It was Bobby Lashley who was MVP versus Drew McIntyre. And I thought to myself, straight away, if they started us off with this, I knew who was going to win it. And I thought if they'd done it the other way around, it'd have been, to finish the night off with. That's how I would have put money on to win it. But what did you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think there was a big kind of push to get Bianca and Sasha in the main event. And I think, like, a lot of times at WrestleMania, the second most important match is the opener. So I think if you're giving Sasha the main event, I suppose this might be the best space for it. It's a weird spot to think the WWE title in the opening match, but I can kind of understand what they were going for. And they wanted their first match in, like, the first live match in 13 months, I think, to be a big one as well. Big names.
I agree straight away. I know it's about 18 minutes long, so it was a good length for this fight as well, actually. And it was very hard hitting in places as well. It was hard hitting in a very, very physical fight. I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Really, really enjoyed it.
The main issue I had with this match, and it's very unfortunate because it's neither wrestler's fault, and it might be just them getting used to it, was the camera work. because they just had, I don't know if you noticed it, but they had so many cuts. Like there was one stage where I think in the space of 10 seconds, they had about 12 camera cuts.
Yeah, it jarred really badly with that because I've done them years ago. I did a film studies course at uni, and sometimes I think you can overdo it with the camera movement and the camera cutting, and it was well overdone. That was.
And like they got a bit of criticism from, I think even Lance Storm put it up for some of the other matches, but like this one for some reason was the worst for me. And it took me out of it a little bit, but still the actual match itself was good. It was hard hitting. Not my favorite match of the night. I know some people really liked it, but I think it was still really good, solid start to the show.
Yeah, I wasn't wild on the bit where Drew was getting distracted by MVP yelling at him either. I must admit.
Stupid.
Yeah, that was putting it nicely. I was going to be more blunt than that.
Like MVP could have caught his leg. He could have swung at him underneath with the cane. He could have got up on the side at least. The way it happened, it just made Drew McIntyre look really, really stupid.
Yeah. What do you reckon to the fact that like the crowd is, I think, is still, they've not managed, they obviously want to put Bobby Lashley, don't they, as a real dominant champion, but the crowd aren't really reacting to him either way, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's hard even to know with the crowd. I think it was a relatively small crowd considering the size of the arena. So it's hard to really like get a proper gauge what people think about Bobby Lashley, but I think like he's done a fairly solid enough job, and like the reign is only 4 or 5, like 6 weeks long so far.
Yeah, takes time. And his experience and MVP will push him over. But
yes, I think give it time, it might. The finish helped. I think the finish helped that idea.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go next to it, because I've heard the rumor going around that Bobby wants to fight against Brock. They've never fought.
He's had that for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they will bring Brock Lesnar back, but who they put him against next is the crunch one. So obviously, like, we'll come on to the SmackDown champion in a bit, whether it's going to be the SmackDown champion or him. It's could go either way, because they could get mileage out of both either way with them, really, couldn't they? So
yeah, that could be fun. It'd be nice to give Bobby his match after so many years.
I think it's really should be Bobby against Brock, because they've been avoiding each other over the years for many, many years on bits and pieces. I think it'd be a good choice. So. Anyway, so what are you going to give this one out of 5?
3.5. I think a lot of people seem to enjoy it more than I did, but just the camera work took me out of it a little bit. So
it was just that bit about them yelling Bob when he got distracted. That threw me straight off. Yeah, that put me right off, and that knocked me down to probably about 3.75. Yeah. Good fight. It was a good fight. It was a good start.
Yeah,
it was a good start. Like I said.
Unfortunately, we're probably leading on to the low point of night 1.
Oh God, yes. I'll just see what's coming up next now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Tag team turmoil. And it started off with, first of all, Lana and Naomi versus Carmella and Billie Kay. Oh God. Sorry, I'm going to pass on this. I'm just going to swear.
The match of was a few nice moves. Like the Riot Squad, I think, looked fairly nice while they were out.
Yeah, those Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan can wrestle.
They're solid. I wish they got more opportunities. I wish they were fighting for the tag team titles. Tamina got a really good reaction from the crowd.
Yes, she did, didn't she? Particularly on the second night as well, actually. No, I noticed that as well.
I don't really understand, I'll be honest. This might be too mean to say, but I kind of feel like it's a bit of it when people got behind Jinder Mahal. It's kind of I'm not sure if it was a joke kind of getting behind.
It makes you wonder. It felt to me like they were being, they've been ironic at all the rebelling. It's very, very hard to judge it is. That's why. Yeah, that did surprise me, but.
Yeah, no, it's great to get, I know they like doing the big matches to get people on the card, but it wasn't a good gauntlet match. It wasn't
really awful. I think I'd use it as fast-paced with tons of sloppy movements. And people say that about the AEW women. And watching this, I thought to myself, this was worse by some distance.
Natalia and Tamina won 1.5 stars for me. Happy.
It's no more than that for me. Has to be 1. Well, I'll do your approach. 1.35. It was rubbish. I'm sorry, it really was. It was fast paced, but it was poorly executed. And it was a shame, really, because you've got some women there who can wrestle really well as well. And there's a couple of teams.
Is a great wrestler. The Riot Squad, like Ruby Riot especially, is really good. Liv Morgan, Rowan.
Yeah, Mandy Rose, I think, is a good wrestler. And then, like I said, it was just Natalia can wrestle sometimes. She kind of bit as well, but it just wasn't very good, to be honest. And it went on forever. It was over 14 minutes as well. So, okay. Yeah. Next one. I'm going to hold my hands up. I skipped the next one because I don't really like Seth Rollins a great deal. And I'm not a big fan of Cesaro. So I'm going to have to pass on this one. Sorry. Sorry, Paul. Over to you. Yeah.
It's hard to say if you really don't like them, but honestly, this was a really, really brilliant match. It was a short match. And like, honest, Seth Rollins is I've gone a little bit off Seth Rollins. I used to be a big fan of Seth Rollins, but
yeah, only 11 minutes, wasn't it? So yes, it's a short fight for them, that.
Yes, it was only 11, 12 minutes long, but like it was really technical, really nice, just really, really tight match. Like you don't see matches, this good at that length very often, I think. And it was just a really good palate cleanser even what came before. Like fair enough if you don't like them, but I think for anyone else, if you haven't seen this match, it was probably one of the best matches from both nights. And it was Cesaro one was really interesting. Probably set him up for a title match maybe down the line.
I think it's a good move because they've nearly lost him as a wrestler a few times now, and he's clearly a good wrestler. But I didn't want to watch it because I hated that Monday Night Messiah thing that Seth Rollins character was doing. I just found it really, really irritating.
Seth Rollins has been kind of dragged down a lot, but when he wants to, he can wrestle. And like this was easily a 4.25 star match, which for 11-minute matches, I was very impressive from my side.
That's good to me. I can't offer the mark. I didn't watch it. Sorry, I skipped it.
No worries.
So, right, okay, moving on then. I'm going to skip all the promos because we've got a lot to go through here still. All right, okay. The next one was a strange match as well. The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. Now, I hadn't seen Omos before because I don't watch AEW tons. How tall is he? About 10'2" or something. Absolutely huge.
Big man.
Big man.
Like, it's weird to say because the match was almost 10 minutes long, but this was kind of more an angle than a match.
Yeah, I felt that. Was what I did watch it. You're right. It was weird.
It wasn't a good match, but I kind of really enjoyed whatever it was at the same time.
Yeah, I felt like there was a hush to me because the crowd were basically waiting for the novelty of watching Omos, see what Omos was going to do. And I don't know, did they seem really interested in New Day? I'm not sure. They want to see the big man, didn't they?
It was a really strange dynamic for fans to get into because 7 minutes of this 10-minute match was the babyfaces beating up the heel.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't get my head around that. It was just absolutely bizarre. It was one of those bizarrely judged fights I've sat through that in ages. It was.
Yeah, but again, it's a weird thing where I don't think in terms of like a star rating it was very good, but I think it was entertaining. Like I enjoyed it at the same time for whatever it was because it was so different.
Yeah, I think whether they'll be able to use Omos much going forward, because I'm not convinced he's got much to offer, apart from he's just very tall.
Green. He's quite green yet, so we'll see. I'll kind of like give him a bit of the benefit of the doubt going forward, but at the same time, you wouldn't be holding up like you're probably looking more. Maybe not Great Khali, but more Great Khali than The Undertaker kind of thing.
Oh, at the moment, yeah. And it's good as a tag team, he's going to be relying on AJ Styles and carrying the fights a lot, which he's good enough anyway, because Styles is one of the best workers on the planet.
AJ's, if you half AJ's talent in two, you'll probably still match a lot of tag teams.
Yeah, no, exactly. So they get by, but he's got a lot to learn on. Some ways it's not a bad thing to put him in a regular role as for Styles. I think he'll learn of Styles as well, so we'll see something. Or should be revealed. Right.
So, what match?
Yeah.
Like, again, I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was probably like 2.5 stars.
I'm going to go straight in the middle. 2.25. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. It was worth a watch, but it wasn't anything that great. Right. Oh, I didn't watch the next one. Sorry, I skipped some of these because I don't like Braun Strowman a great deal.
So Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon.
I'm no Elvin, am I? I only watched most of them, but not all of them because I knew it was going to go on forever.
Braun Shane had probably the worst build of any Wrestlemania match ever.
Oh my God! What I saw the clip. What put me off was obviously we're not watching WWE tons. Was the build up, and I sat there thinking, this is absolute tripe.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. It was stupid. The match itself for the first like 3/4 was kind of meh, and then it had a really cool finish.
I was 11 minutes again, basically, wasn't it? So yeah, I can see.
So
Look at
there
the
was
reports,
two parts. So Shane pretty much climbed over after getting distracted. Braun got distracted. Shane climbed over, was about to win, and Braun Strowman like climbed up the rope, like pushed his hand through the steel in, and then just like tore the cage in half with his bare hands to drag Shane back in, and then brought Shane up to the top of the cage and flung him down.
Oh God!
And like a really cool bump. Again, I don't think I should say this because it's given Shane McMahon a free pass, but it was cool enough ending to almost make up for the match.
What, for the other 10.5 minutes of tripe, basically? Yeah. So,
like,
but I knew as soon as they went for the cage, I knew straight away Shane was in it. Probably either jump off it or get thrown off it.
We all knew it was coming, but it was still great.
Oh God, yeah.
Like just for the finish, I'll probably give it like 3 stars. But the rest of it, like watch the highlights on YouTube.
Yeah, that's probably it. The end bit, probably what I can guess. Yeah, I didn't watch it. Oh God, another match I watched. I was drifting in this one a bit. The next one was The Miz and John Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
I really enjoyed this, actually, I admit.
I thought it was better than what I thought it was going to be. Now, I work, job I do, obviously, I've got a lad who's quite young lad I talk to and work, who's a massive wrestling fan on Skype all day. We're both bored. He likes AEW to a degree, but he's a big fan of NXT. And he's been raving over Damian Priest to me for well over a year. He has possibly 2. Yeah, and I think Priest is a real major star in the making.
It was unfortunate. Damian Priest didn't play a very big role in this due to injury, I believe.
Yes, and the same with John Morrison as well, wasn't it? Because I did notice that it was going to be The Miz versus Bad Bunny originally. And then obviously they managed to get Morrison and Priest both fit last minute. So yeah, I noticed that Priest didn't do a lot at all, don't you?
Yeah, but I think, you do have to judge it as a celebrity match.
Yeah.
And I think as a celebrity match, like there's not many people who could probably hold up to Bad Bunny in how much effort he put in.
I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard of him before, but I don't follow rap music in the slightest.
He's very big in Latin America, I believe. He won a Grammy this year, and he's won.
Yeah, I heard that before. Yeah,
and he's in the only one I really know. He's in the Cardi B song "I Like It." I like it like that, which I think is like 1.5 billion views on YouTube. It's one of the watch videos ever.
Wow.
He's like 27 as well. Like he's 26, 27. He's fairly young.
Yeah, he put a lot. You're right. He put an awful lot of energy into that. He did. And considering he's not a wrestler, is he? I thought he put a good show up in that fight. This completely, to be honest with you. So
that was his first ever match. He was doing flips, arm drags all over the place, jumps off the top rope, a Canadian destroyer.
Yeah, not a normal celebrity base there, is he? So
like it was like this match. It was probably like, the match itself was 3.5 stars, but in terms of like a celebrity match, it's probably one of the best they've ever had.
Yeah, it was a fairly long fight as well. It was 15 minutes long as well. So yeah, I find it's an interesting one because I think you're right. For the effort he put into it, if it had just been based on his effort, it'd been a 5 out of 5 because he pushed him. He worked his socks off. I still think it's a 3.25 match. It wasn't a particularly wonderful match, but again,
that's fair. That's fair. 3.25 with 5-star effort from.
Definite. Right. Okay. On the last one, the night one, because I'm trying to get through these because people are wondering at the time we've been going an hour here already, so I don't want it to go on for 2.5 hours. If you've been there today, mate, it'd been 4 hours, I reckon. Probably 2 hours in discussing where you fell asleep halfway through one or both of the nights. Right, okay. Lastly on night one, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Now, I'm going to ask you, Paul, what do you think of this? I know Sasha Banks. I didn't really know Bianca Belair. I thought it was a good fight.
I love this, I'll be honest. I thought it was really good. Bianca Belair is like, she's new. She only just came up from...
She's NXT, yeah. I know she's just come up from NXT, and she very recently.
She technically came up Raw after Mania last year, I think, but she hasn't really been on the main roster very much. Then she won the Royal Rumble, and like, I know it had that big match feel, and Bianca and Sasha were both like, you could almost see the moment taking them, but I kind of felt like in the nice, like, you know, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12, this is all I've ever wanted kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I felt like I love this match. I thought this was a great match.
I think it was a brave move for him and a great move to finish off one of the nights of a women's fight. Because of like, there's so many women wrestlers in WWE at the moment that have got no heat, nothing going at all. And Sasha Banks is a quality act, and I didn't know Bianca Belair that well at all, but she did very, very well in this fight for me straight away.
Yeah, and like she's just a powerhouse. Like that move where Sasha dived out from the top, like out of the ring, and Bianca like rolled and caught her and like military pressed her back, like up the ring and back in, and just like, you know, like she's just very like the 450 splashes, like
good work, very good work. Yeah,
where I think she like tore Sasha's abdomen in half with her like the hair slap.
Yeah, I was reading up about her. She's relatively inexperienced, isn't she? She's not been wrestling that long.
She hasn't a massive. I don't think she had much of like an indie career before WWE.
No, I've read up and it doesn't look like she did. I think she didn't have a lot, certainly, so that's why. So no, I thought it was a really good fight. Really, really good fight, John. I like you said to you, it was probably my match of the night, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think it was, definitely my match tonight by a margin. But you know, this one, like honestly, it was probably, I might be getting to get carried away, but from my side, it was 4.5 stars.
I think so. I agree with you on that one. It was a good fight. Great way of finishing the first night. Straight away, as before, and best fight of the night, mate, with some distance.
Sasha Banks is now 0-6 at WrestleMania.
Oh no, Paul for Sasha Banks. If I was her, I'd give up quick. But she's not much luck with it, that's for sure. But no, but she elevated.
The funny thing as well is, I think they're the same age. Sasha might even be younger.
Is she? I didn't know that.
Like Sasha's only like 29 years old.
She's funny, Sasha, because she's been around for a long time, hasn't she?
Yeah.
As a wrestler, that's why. Because you think about it, with the 4 horsemen in the WWE, they've all the 2 that are still going out in a minute, really, or 3 maybe. You think they've all been there pushing probably 10 years now, haven't they?
Actually, to give and take away, for as good as this was and as good as Sasha was, Bayley's role in WrestleMania was atrocious.
Oh, what the hell are they doing with her? God,
why didn't Bayley have a match? Bayley was women's champion for well over a year leading up to like.
Couldn't get my head around that.
And the fact that she was healthy and free and not in a match at WrestleMania was a disgrace.
Yeah, I don't get the logic sometimes at all on that. So, right, listen, we better move on to night 2 because we'll try and do a skip through night 2. What are you going to give this as a show for the night 1, Paul?
Like, while it wasn't perfect, I really had fun with night 1. And like most of the matches, while not perfect, I had like, there was something in them that really just made me enjoy it and made me just like feel that kind of WrestleMania vibe. And it was probably B+. Are we giving a number or a grade?
Give it a number. Okay. So we're doing so far.
4.25.
We've got more than I was going to go to 3.5. Because
I know there's just something about it. Maybe I got carried away with having a live audience that probably shouldn't have been there with COVID.
Probably. That's why I really enjoyed the first and the last fight. It was all the middle ones are a bit suspect for me. So. But we better move on to part 2 now.
No.
And
night 2 opened with the worst match of the year.
It was one of the most. What is WTF fights I've seen in bloody ages. I have absolutely. What the hell was going on with that fight, then, Paul?
So this was WrestleMania 37. 4 years ago, I went to WrestleMania 33 and saw The Fiend versus Randy Orton in what
I forgot.
match of the year that year by the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
I forgot about that.
Putting a bet right here, right now, that they have just won their second Wrestling Observer newsletter worst match of the year.
Oh, yeah, they did it 4 years ago, didn't they? Yeah. This was absolutely shocking.
Nonsense.
It was absolute gibberish.
Okay.
And
His entrance was cool.
yes.
The thing was kind of cool.
Did you hear the big rumor going around about this as well, did you? That Bray Wyatt didn't actually fight in this at all. I was hearing a rumor going on. It's his brother, apparently.
Bo Dallas?
Yeah, Bo Dallas, apparently.
There must have been like, oh, now this sounds very mean. Like, Bo Dallas is a very small man.
I have no idea what's going on.
That sounds like no, but just the rumor, a lot of rumors going around was the Fiend was meant to win, and like they changed it last minute just to kind of for shock value. But like, this was a 6-month feud that was not very good a lot, and the payoff to it was that the heel won after a non-match.
6 minutes he won it.
Yeah,
absolute gibberish it was.
It was like, this is the worst of WWE. You know, like the tag team turmoil match, the next match we're talking about weren't great. You know, this was just something that it's probably going to be the worst match of the year, considering how high on the card it was and how much.
Most hyped, and one of the most hyped matches that led to nothing. Yeah. What got me with it, I didn't understand, and I've got my mum and my best mate lives on the corner from me. He is a massive Bray Wyatt fan, and he rang me up the day after, and he was absolutely ranting down the phone on this, saying they're splitting them up, and I couldn't work out what the hell they're doing to Alexa Bliss when she sat at the end of it all, the face makeup messed up. It meant nothing to me.
They didn't explain it on Raw either. They do, like, Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt both did promos, and it didn't even matter. Like, it was just nonsense.
Yeah. So, right, we'll give us a mark and move on then. Okay, so
-3.
-3. Bloody hell. Okay, well, I'll beat you then. -6.75.
That was one of the stupidest, worst. Oh, it was nonsense.
It was gibberish. I'm not going to get more ruder. Okay, right. We're moving straight on. Next one was, which wasn't much better, as to be told of you, was Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
It was not good, but it was a lot better.
Exactly. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Tamina, Women's Tag Team Championship match. I don't like Nia Jax. I think she's useless. Absolutely useless. Straight away to it.
She's not good. Shayna Baszler is very good.
I think she's been screwed over by WWE, because there was talk going around when they brought her up to the main roster. Vince didn't like the look of her face. I thought, that's nice of him.
You know what? Oh. This match was slightly better than I expected. Like, there was a little bit of nice stuff in it, but like it overstayed its welcome. It probably wouldn't have been 14, 15 minutes long.
It felt like about half an hour to me, truth be told. It felt like it went on. On 14 minutes it was, and it felt like half an hour to me, and that's not always a good sign. That's not a good sign. And
like, while it wasn't the worst thing in the world, it really needed something after that opener to bring the crowd back in, and like it just, like, it was an okay TV match.
Yeah. It just felt like, to me, they've overstretched themselves again for Wrestlemania, because sometimes in some of these feuds they've got to really build them up, and this just felt like to me, didn't it? Like, you'd put on first match of a TV show to finish the night off with.
Like, if you're having a 2-night Wrestlemania and you need someone to pull double duty, Tamina is probably not really the first person who should come to mind.
No, she's so injury prone. That's what got me with it, wasn't it? And like, at the moment, she's the fittest she's been in years, apparently, isn't it? Because they're not using her much, and it's just really, like, strange.
She's not the worst thing ever, but like, Tamina shouldn't be the one wrestler you pick to work twice in your WrestleMania card.
No, absolute cobblers.
2.5, 2 stars.
Two. It was better than the first one. Not much.
It was okay.
Right. Okay. Then we had this very strange feud with Sami Zayn with Logan Paul, who I didn't know who Logan Paul was, actually. I had to check out who it was during the fight, versus Kevin Owens.
Not a great person. Not a very nice person.
Yeah, I spotted that. I thought, no, he looked a complete prat to me. He did on his own.
From what I know of him, you're pretty much on the ball.
What got me was with these two, because these are two really, really good workers. And they've been best friends, haven't they, for what, most of their adult lives? Is how many times have they fought in WWE now? About 45 times. It seems like they're constantly feuding with each other.
Yeah, like I think they've only had 1 or 2 pay-per-view matches, but they always seem to be like they never seem to be far away from each other. And I don't think this was while this was good, I don't think it was their best work.
No, far from it for me. I thought it was a good, solid fight, and I liked the ending of it when you had Kevin Owens base saying he's caused this himself before he put the stunner on him. And I thought to myself, yeah, that summed it up well, really.
Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had a match at Battleground a few years ago, a pay-per-view, which was really, really good. And this kind of felt like a bit of a pale in comparison.
Yeah, how long's this feud been going on for? It felt like it was fairly rushed to me, don't you, with the clips I saw at the beginning of it.
Yeah, it didn't really have a very I think the thing where they've had such a historic long feud over different promotions that we don't really need to build this one up a lot. They kind of did. And yeah, Logan Paul is a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, and we're going to go too much spoilers away. Obviously, Owens won, which I was expecting there. And then basically put the stunner on Owen Paul, obviously the guest at the end of it. Yeah, which I thought had to be done straight away, so that's why. So,
but fair enough. I think he enjoyed it more than I did, but it was 3 1/4 for me.
Three for me, so
it's fine.
Yeah, it hasn't been. At this stage, I hadn't really enjoyed it at all the second night.
Night 2 was a lot weaker, I think. Yeah,
then we went straight to Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. And this was a pretty quick fight, this one, if my memory is correct as well.
11 minutes.
About 10 minutes. About 10 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Now, saying that, I found this a nice surprise. This was probably the best match for me so far on night 2, which is maybe not saying a lot. But there was some really cool stuff in here, I think. The finish was really cool. Backflip into the bro kick. I thought it was very nice.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a good fight, don't you? They could have gone long with this one. The best one at the stages was. And Sheamus is a good solid worker anyway. I read afterwards, this is the only belt he's not won in WWE. He's won everything else.
No, I think he'd won this before. I think his Intercontinental he still hasn't won.
As Intercontinental Leafway. But I know and obviously I don't watch enough of WWE to comment on this, but he's getting a lot of praise for the work he's been putting in. And
he's done a lot of good work with Drew for the last couple of months. Yeah.
And I think he's elevated Drew quite nicely. That being the case, he deserves his belt then straight away with it. So
yeah. And I know they don't like Riddle very much. The only reason that Riddle won was because Keith Lee got injured.
Yeah, I heard about that. I did read about that. They don't like Riddle, yeah. He kind of reminds me, I think he winds him up a bit like Rob Van Dam used to do in some ways. There is a similarity in the characters there. That's why. Whether that's because they're the way they are in person or not.
Well, yeah, they probably could have taken 5 minutes off the tag team match and put it into this. This was just a really good, hard-hitting, kind of solid. Again, you can only do so much in 10, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
But they used their time brilliantly, and I thought it was really, really solid wrestling.
Yeah, good fight. Best one so far of the night for me. On this night it was.
Yeah.
So what are you going to give this one then, Paul?
I think just because they were short on time, 3 3/4, I think.
I'll go the same as you. Okay, 3 2/4, yeah.
Almost pushed to 4, but you're just it was so short at the same time.
Yeah, if it had been the extra 5 minutes, it would have been a 4, I reckon, straight away. It was that good straight away. Right, okay. On to a strange-looking title fight next. Nigerian drum fight for the WWE Intercontinental Championship with Big E versus Apollo Crews. Yeah,
this was a strange one.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out with who's trying to get Apollo Crews to teach him doing a Nigerian accent. That ain't Nigerian. And I work with Nigerian people.
His dad is Nigerian, I think. I think his dad moved to America. America is he from? But it's a bit of an odd accent. It's a bit of, it's nice they're trying to do something with Apollo Crews because Apollo Crews has bundles of potential, but it's an unusual decision, and I think it might have been a bit early to take the title off Big E as well, because they're Big E is kind of on a bit of a push to the main event, I think.
Yeah, they should have took it off, and Big E, people have been saying for years he should be pushing for the major belt,
And
unless they're going to use that now to push him towards the main belt straight after WrestleMania.
I'm not sure he's ready yet. I feel like he needs. Maybe he'll get the Money in the Bank or something. Maybe they'll build him up slowly over the year. But
yeah, felt too soon for me straight away with it. So I didn't realize this fight was a short. This is the weird one because obviously the other fights I said before, some felt like half an hour when they were in 14 minutes. This was 7 minutes. This one. This seemed to go fairly quick to me.
Yeah, it went very fast and had that weird ending with. God, I can't even think of his name.
Yes. Oh, what was his name now? Yeah, he was in the Raw Underground thing, wasn't he? And they didn't name it. I've not even heard what they've named. Dabacanto, he was called in.
Dabacanto.
I don't know whether they're going to call him that in this new storyline.
Cost Big E the title. And
yeah. How big is he? He looks a 7-footer as well. He does. He looks a big man.
Close, yeah. I think this was short. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but it was probably more of a B pay-per-view match than a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, it shouldn't be WrestleMania as far at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think the workers are really both were up for it as much as they should have been. Whether it's down to the length of the thing again, it's hard to judge, but yeah, it should be WrestleMania again.
Less than 7 minutes. Again, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but I said it wasn't anything major.
Star.
2. I'll give it 2. I didn't really like. It didn't do a lot for me, John. It felt like a missed opportunity. Okay. Did things pick up for you, Paul, then, with the second to last fight of the night of Asuka versus Rhea Ripley?
This was unfortunate because of how little build they managed. It was out of their hands, to be fair. Charlotte was meant to be in this match versus Asuka. And apparently, according to Andrade, Charlotte was taken out because of a mistaken pregnancy test. He found some. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, there's various talk going around at the moment with this, isn't there? So
Rhea versus Asuka. I think this was it was a good match. It was a really good match that probably should have been a great match if it had a proper build and proper setup.
Yeah, there's been obviously Asuka's had a concussion issue, hasn't she? So the talk I was reading, because she hasn't really defended this belt for a while, has she? On Raw,
she was out for a while, for about 6 weeks or so, because I think Shayna Baszler knocked out a couple of teeth.
I heard about that's what I thought. Yeah, as well.
Yeah, Asuka is also 0-4 at WrestleMania. She also has never.
Next year, to put Asuka versus Sasha Banks, then sure, one of them are going to win.
What's the streak?
Seriously, yeah.
Again, I think it was so unfortunate that with a proper build, Rhea getting her moment, Asuka was a great opponent to do that for her. Maybe with a little bit more time, but I think just because there was so little build, it didn't click for me as well as it should have.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. So it was a good fight. It was 13 minutes longer. I thought this was longer actually. This fight, it felt a bit longer this one.
Rhea Ripley is, I think, 24, 25. She's got so much potential. Not even potential. She's doing it. She's on the verge of being the person, being that Craig.
Yeah, she felt it to me. The first time I'd really seen her, I thought, this woman's really good. She's really good.
She had a really good match against Charlotte last WrestleMania as well, which she probably should have won.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. I wondered that was her. Yeah, because Charlotte beat her, didn't she? And she shouldn't have lost that. Yeah. So,
but I think unfortunately, for the lack of build, maybe it's still probably still a 3.25, maybe 3.5 for me. It was still they put in a lot of work and it was good, but it should have been better.
I'm going to give it 3.5, John, because for me it was an improvement after all of the rest of the show. Really, it seemed to pick up towards the end of that fight. So that was a bit of a slow fight to get going. That really, it seemed to take its time building up that one.
Yeah, I think good, but I hoped for better. But I think it can again. Maybe rest at the next pay-per-view.
Right. Okay. Well, move on to the last fight then, this was quite interesting. There was rumours going around about this fight as well, and it was just 22 minutes as well. Because I know originally it was going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge, but they weren't happy with the way Edge was being received, were they? So that's where they put Daniel Bryan in it later on, really, didn't they? So.
I think it was a good decision. Well, Roman Reigns versus Edge would have been fun as well, but yeah, you always love a bit of Daniel Bryan. Can't go wrong with a bit of Daniel Bryan.
He's one of the best workers they've got, don't you? Absolutely
He's
superb worker.
one of the best in-ring workers of all time, really.
Yeah. His contract's up. When's his contract up with WWE? It's August, isn't it?
September, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I can see him going to like New Japan, actually. Straight after this. Do some work in Japan.
He's talking about retiring, to be honest. Like, I don't know. He'll do a year. I could see him maybe doing a year of just like cherry picking a few matches here and there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about going to like. It wouldn't surprise me if some coming to like AEW for one fight versus Kenny Omega or something.
Well, look, I think, given their due, for me anyway, I thought the main event was fantastic. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, really good fight. It was surprised me because I was expecting Roman, and you thought Roman would win it, and he did. I didn't expect him to pin both Edge and Daniel Bryan. I thought that was a good idea to finish the match off for me. That was straight away.
That was super cool. I really
very clever, very clever move indeed. So that's why. But it then gets rid of his two major contenders. So it makes you wonder. They must have somebody else completely different in mind to carry this fight on.
Maybe like Daniel Bryan being at the bottom, maybe Edge could have some bit of a comeback. But yeah, it will be hard. But but it's just the match itself. It just flowed really well. There was so much. There was a lot of good work. You have said, Daniel Bryan is one of the best of all time. Edge is a fantastic wrestler with a chip on his shoulder to prove he can still go. And Roman Reigns is in the absolute prime of his career.
Yeah, it's the best. I've not really enjoyed Roman Reigns before, and I've not been really following him that much as a heel. But he was tons better in this. He was absolutely best fight I've seen him do for some distance.
Yeah. Like Roman Reigns for the last 7 or 8 months has been nothing compared to what he was before. He's been a different, super engaging character, right place, doing the right stuff. And I think this match was kind of like he's almost cherry on top of his run so far.
Yeah, no, straight away, and it'll make him the pinnacle now of WWE. So good luck to him. Really, really good fight. The crowd seemed to really enjoy that as well, didn't they? So I noticed that as well. Not the fact he won, and the fact they seemed to be into that fight, didn't they? A lot. So
like this along with, well, probably this even over Bianca Sasha was probably the best WrestleMania match.
It was my favorite. I must admit, it was my favorite.
What rating would you give it, Andy?
4.25, I reckon. I'm going to go for it was an exceptionally good fight. This.
I think I'd even go higher. I think it'd be 4.5. Maybe even pushed it.
It was definitely
4.5. It was a bit long. It was a couple of minutes extra, maybe even 4.75. But it was a great match. Just really good.
Best one of the night and best one for the weekend, really, for WWE and WrestleMania for me. So
it's funny you were saying. Like, I have good memories of WrestleMania. And I think maybe it's because both nights ended so well. And when you have a really strong ending, you can kind of forget some.
I think they do it that way sometimes. They make it to encourage you to forget the drab that started the night off. Oh, sorry, Bray. Yeah, but no, I agree. Now, we're looking at the time obviously now, so we'll better wrap up with a few quick calls. Yeah, to finish off with, what are you going to give this second night out of 5 then?
Like on average, Randy Orton versus The Fiend drags it down terribly.
Yeah, completely. He knocks it down about 1.
Again, the main event has left probably an unfair high in my head, so I'll give it 3 3.75.
3. Unfortunately, because the first 2 nights were that bad. It was like I said, you give us like -6 and what 2 was it? It drags down the rest of the card really. And the second night it picked up because, like I said, the middle. Matt Riddle, Sheamus was a good fight. Then the last 2 were really good fights to wrap up for me. But the rest of it, the second night was got a bit cobbles down. But I said, we're both knackered now, if you're all wondering. We've both had 4 hours, 2 fun and 4 nights of WWE and 2 hours of AEW. So we're going to take a break for a bit now, aren't we?
I'll watch wrestling for a couple of weeks.
I'm back in AEW next week, but now I'll need the rest of it after that. Yeah, you find that, don't you? Like when you've watched that much, it burns you out, doesn't it? Completely. That so. If WWE are ever watching this, and they won't, you might want to suggest next year cut it down to 4 hours and not 8 over 2 nights. It's too much.
or at least like don't have 2 nights of NXT, don't have 8 nights of wrestling in a row.
Oh God, yeah, that's a point. Yeah, because you had the Saturday night, didn't you? Have Friday night, didn't you? Have NXT as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
God, yeah, that's a point. Yeah,
WrestleMania special SmackDown, NXT Wednesday, NXT Thursday, Hall of Fame Tuesday, Raw Monday.
yeah, it's too much. It fries your head. So less
Yeah.
is more, not more is more. Right, guys and girls, we shall see you in May. Take care. Thank you again for the report, and we'll see everybody in May because we're going to be doing some kind of program in May, aren't we? Whether we do Blood and Guts, but the pay-per-views at the end of May as well, isn't it? So we'll do one.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, we're not sorting out when, but we will. Take care, guys. This is Andy and signing out, and Paul signing out. Yeah. See you later.